working?
Sure, it's absolutely working. The tag's working, everything's working.
Woohoo! We are on live, people.
Yeah.
How exciting. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my first live interview with the Jack Zhu. He's a legend. He's also a friend. He's a lot of things, but mainly I want to point across that he is a writer, a coach. He is a resident Avenger, as you've told me. He's a superhero at heart. But also, he's very knowledgeable, and he's an expert in one of the things that I'm passionate about talking about, which is burnout. As you all know, I've been through burnout myself. So Jack was he wanted to share a few tips that he has because he has some experience with resources. So we're going to talk about that tonight. So yeah, I'm really excited. How are you feeling, Jack?
Oh, pretty good. How are you doing yourself?
Yeah, I'm really well, thank you. I'm just really enjoying your background. I see that you have some kind of ninja setup there.
Well, I actually changed my setup a little bit since last time. Because last time it was you're in my playground, now I'm in your playground.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope there's a Ferris wheel in your playground. But we'll discover that a little later.
We will discover. Yes, sure we will. All right. So why don't you share a little bit about yourself and maybe a bit about your journey, Jack?
Specific to our talk today,
Yes.
burnout has been a non-stop endeavor in terms of finding balance in my life, of professionally, personally, everything else. So I began my journey as a coach 2 years ago, and at that point I was sort of struggling with finding some sort of peace and balance in the job I was doing. I was getting extremely self-conscious about the relationships I was in, and as well as my workload. I was working overtime, lots of overtime, and I wasn't taking care of myself, wasn't taking care of what I'm eating, wasn't taking care of my social life either. So lots of toxic relationships, lots of people in my life that shouldn't even be there, and doing things that don't really serve me. So nothing was really working out for me. I was always stressed all the time and was just really bad in general. So and my definition of burnout is like this. It's like you have, just say you have like a party that's full of candles, right? You have a sort of really awesome birthday party full of candles, and then you realize that when you needed more candles, you're kind of sort of running low on candles, and running low on candles to burn. So, and until like to the point where, oh shit, I'm really out of candles. I don't have any more. So in order to light up this party, so I'm just, I'm exhausted. So that's what I mean when I'm burnt out, because that means I'm sort of out of energy. I don't really have energy to sustain this sort of system, this life inside this party it's down. Like this celebration, like I just lost the will to celebrate myself. I lost the will to do the things that I wanted to do, and it really came down to like figuring out a solution where I'm not out of candles. And for me, like in order to get more candles, it's about freeing up space. Right? You can't have lots of candles if you got lots of things in your space. So I began to declutter, getting rid of things that are not necessary in my life, throwing away my video games, throwing away my manga, throwing away furniture that's just really bulky and doesn't really, just takes up room in my space. And when your workspace is filled with stuff, like it's sort of like it sort of reflects that sort of environment in your mind as well. Like your space is equal to your mind in a way. So when that happens, you just become overwhelmed because you just got so much stuff out here. That means you got lots of stuff in here too. But when I started freeing everything, like throwing stuff away, it changed because my environment was like has more space. That means I have more headspace at the same time. So in saying that, like that's one part of my journey of getting rid of burnout, is to free up space to give to myself, because I deserve it and I need it in order for me to do things that are like that are worth my time, that I actually enjoy. Like so anything that you do right now that you don't enjoy, it's simply just baggage, right? Because if you're not if you like, you might think it's a good idea to do that certain thing. Say for example, I wanted to invest in forex, right? Because that will give me better financial security in the future. Although it's risky, it's good because like a lot of my friends do forex, and I have a lot of friends that like are trying to get me to do forex, but like I just can't. I'm just not really into that. Like it's great, like it's awesome. There's potential to make a lot of money doing that, but I just don't enjoy doing that. And there's people that's forcing me or trying to convince me to do it, but I just don't. My heart is not in it. So in that sense, it's more like I can't have forex in my life because I just can't find myself to enjoy that. So what do? I started doing things that I do enjoy, although it's not maybe not as lucrative as forex then, but like it's still great. So my journey is more like the management of resources, and hence what I do is like, how do you manage the space around you, right? So because the more space you have, that means you have more room available to do other things.
Yes.
And that is the thing that I'm an advocate for. I'm an advocate for freeing up space. I'm not saying to get rid of everything, right? But like just leave the absolute necessities, like things that bring you joy. There are people that say everything brings me joy, but then sometimes you have to be really honest with yourself on the things that actually bring you joy. Like maybe your family brings you joy, or maybe your hobbies bring you joy. That's absolutely fine. Like there's nothing wrong with having things that are not lucrative that brings you joy. So it's all about accepting, like I actually like that thing. It's not going to make me money, but I enjoy doing it. But like there could be opportunities that could become a thing. I could help someone with, by simply making a TikTok video of myself doing that hobby, sort of like raise the spirits of people that's watching it. Like you could do it that way.
Yeah.
So,
I just want to take a moment here because you've touched on so many like valuable lessons and things throughout your journey. And I really want to commend you, first of all, because it's really hard, like to be able to, first of all, to share that. So I really thank you for that. But also, I think what really touched me during that was that you mentioned this concept of the celebration of yourself.
yeah.
And that, I mean, and the candles analogy, I thought, like, I'd never really thought about it that way before, but it's the way that you have sort of described it is quite poetic, actually. It's not only is it poetic, but also that it's actually, it is quite sad, like to think that, when the candles burn out and you actually stop celebrating yourself, that is, that is so impactful, and it's just so profound that it's so true, because I think I see myself a lot of that in the past as well, with my journey through my corporate career. And I think, a lot of it's all driven sort of, the way that our makeup as human beings is driven through like childhood and all of our experiences growing up, which has embedded in me a seed to always feel the need to achieve. And that's why I want to help, like high achieving women, because I know how it feels to always, you're going to have this relentless need, and you don't even know why. You just always want to prove yourself, to fill your cup with love. And you want to get it from other people. Like there's this sort of, like, I didn't know before that was what I was doing. But I've found that burnout is a term that comes up with all different images in people's minds. And if you actually search up the term burnout in YouTube, you actually get cars, like all the racing cars that go zoom, zoom,
I can use that. You can use that poetically in a way, like burnout means like, you could mean like you're a car, and like at some point, like you can't, your tires gets worn out and you can't like continue the journey anymore. You can do it that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's
or
true.
like
Runs out of gas.
Yeah. Or like I have an even more humorous analogy of burnout is like, say like you basically have this new infection of like fungal infection, and then somehow somebody has to take out a flamethrower and then like blow torch it,
Yeah, until it's actually disintegrated.
Yeah. But then in the process, like you're not only burning out the fungal, but you're only burning yourself as well.
Everything else, that comes with it. And what I really loved about what you shared as well, that I think a lot of people can learn is that this whole concept of, burnout is not just like, sure, you can get it from work, like if you're overworking yourself or you're overthinking. There's a lot of that overness of that exhausts people, and it can be emotional, it can be psychological, and physical as well. So all of those aspects combined can cause this fatigue, but it's the prolonged fatigue that actually drives someone to, I guess, get to that stage where they feel like, oh, I've completely been depleted, I've been disintegrated, from what you were saying, all my candles are burnt out.
I think like it really come like at some point in your explanation, you said sometimes we don't know why we get burnt out or why we go on this endeavor. And I sort of have a hypothesis of what might be the cause of it. And I think it really comes down to value, personal value. Because why do we endeavor to achieve all these things? Is because if we don't try to achieve all these things, we don't feel whole in ourselves. We think that by doing more things, it means that we become more valued. And that is a very tragic myth. Like so many people are trying to achieve all these things and they beat themselves up because they can't, their body doesn't allow them to achieve all those things.
Yeah.
And that is tragically what's causing all the burnout. It's because because I think that I need to be this great person, this perfect person that can do all these things. Like if I can't do that, then I'm no use. I'm useless, right? But then like I think to me that's a very immature way to think about it, right?
Yeah.
Because like if you think that way, right, then you're sort of like dismissing the fact that you are also important in because if you go through the burnout, if you do that with and neglect your own personal well-being, you are basically you're basically destroying your body, and by destroying your body you get sick, and when you get sick you can't do anything anyway.
And the thing is that with this whole like relenting desire for people to achieve things that are outside of themselves to feel valued as well, is that at some point you feel not only are you tired, but actually I just lost it. There was something I was going to say. Oh, I was saying, you mentioned about like when you get, when you want to feel useful, but then you no longer you feel useless to yourself. When you get to that point of exhaustion, or you've injured yourself, or you keep getting sick, and there's this whole like, I want to try and achieve, but then I'm disheartened and disappointed at myself because I wasn't able to do it because I'm not feeling productive, or I keep getting sick and I have to rest, and resting is not productive. And then it's this whole cycle of like beating yourself up and then not achieving, but then wanting to. And that psychological event, that if it happens regularly, then it actually, you actually don't get anything done. And you actually constantly feel that way as well, unless there's ways that you know how to pick yourself back up.
Yeah, that becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy, what you, because like here's the really strange thing about all this is that sometimes like when you look at why people achieve like to get value, why do people want value? So that people that they get recognized, right? So that people say, hey, you did really well, that sort of thing. So that's also another dangerous way to go about it, is that you want value so that people will recognize you. And in saying that, you're saying that if people don't if you don't really work hard and you don't have any self-perceived value, people will not see you as valuable. I think that's also another limiting belief, because at that point in time you're sort of deciding for other people what that you are not valuable. Like, they didn't say it, you just think that they think that you're not valuable.
Again, the beating the self up.
Yeah. So we beat ourselves up because we think that other people think about us this way, which is false. Like, how do we know that people don't like us or don't find us valuable? We don't, right?
It's all in our mind, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a perception that we have because it's ingrained from whatever experiences that we have. And I think that like, it's really hard to deal with because society, like, we grow up in a society and we have cultures and we have certain values that are ingrained, and we sometimes don't even think for ourselves. We just think, well, what can we do to help other people? But then it's like, when you stretch yourself too much and you're doing too much or having too much stuff, like you mentioned about just all the consumption that just consumes your life, you lose yourself in it all. As well.
Yeah, like you become defined by like what you think people think of you.
Yeah.
Which is quite sad. And when you say like, let's I want to move, not sure which direction you want to go to, but like in terms of getting to a solution to all that, it's first step is to really recognize for ourselves, like for all those who are struggling with this, with burnout or being overly stressed about something. I think the first step is like to really notice that you're in this situation. Because if you don't notice that you are burning out, or like you just neglect the fact that you're burning out, how are you able to solve the problem, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing is to notice that there is a problem. That's the first step. And then after that, you have to put yourself in a space where you decide how you want to proceed from that point onwards. Like why is this burnout worth it to me? You have to ask yourself
what is it going to give you in the long term?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of people who are going through this say like, I don't really have a choice. I need to raise my family. I need to put food on the table. Like, my kids need me, or all these sort of. I wouldn't go as far as to say that they're excuses, but then like, I mean, like, you still have a choice, right? There are ways to get through it, even if it's just kids and stuff like that. Like even kids, like you don't, like, I've been talking to a parent that says, oh, my kid takes 24 hours of my time. I was like, How is that possible?
Wow.
Because does your kid want 24 hours of your time? Like, does your kids
Don't
need
they
you
get
24?
tired?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, if I want my parent for like 24 hours, holy
Yeah,
crap.
yeah, that's crazy. So it was like I want to ask him that. Oh, does your kids want
Whoa.
you 24 hours? Like he was like,
Yeah.
no. I don't know. Right. Well, that's something for you to think about, right?
Yeah.
Because like if your kids don't need you 24 hours, like why do you think that you need that your
Yeah.
kids need you for 24 hours? So
Mm.
you have to think about that, right? And allocate time to, if kids are important to you, allocate time to your kids. If like this is important to you, allocate some time for that. So it's more of a planning process. So like the first one is recognize the problem. Second part is the planning. Like what can you do? What's under your control, right? And then thirdly is to execute. So recognize, plan, execute.
Yeah. So that's the sort of the methodology that you've come up
Yeah.
with.
So that's a really basic sort of plan. That's like just the really fundamentals. Like it's different for specific people because like some people have different sort of problems in terms of that. Like it's more about like really understanding how that person works, and that's why us coaches are very valuable in that regard. It's our job to recognize like what it is that that specific person needs. Like we shouldn't say like this plan is going to work for everybody, right?
No, there's no cookie cutter approach to humans.
Yeah,
I think.
we're not, we didn't come out of a factory, right?
Are we all clones? That'd be interesting, right? Like that kind of seeing those movies of that. Yeah. Or iRobot or something.
Yeah, that sort of thing. But like unfortunately we don't have a single sort of like formula that solves all of our problems at once. Yeah.
And you're so right with that. And that's why I think it's also really important. Like we mentioned a lot in this talk about how like we need to be able to think for ourselves.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I do and I love working on is mindset, because it's something that I think, I had a lot of external factors growing up, and obviously going through all the experiences in the corporate world and dealing with a lot of different people that I found that. Oh, now I'm lost in my train of thought. Sorry about that. Something. All these distractions in my way.
I think that's something that we need to work on ourselves. Like even coaches, like even we're not perfect. That sometimes we have stuff to work on. But I think it's really important. Like now that you ran into this issue of like you forgetting things, I think the first step is like tell yourself that it's okay to go through this because it's normal. It's okay to forget momentarily. We'll work through this together. Together, like it shows some degree of like authenticity. Is that you're a person, I'm a person. We make mistakes, and it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes because like even though it's hard, it's because of hard. That's why it's worth working on, right?
Yeah.
So because it's hard, it doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah.
It's good because it's hard.
Because it helps us grow, and we learn to recognize as well where sort of where we are currently at the moment, what our limitations are, what can we actually improve on. So I just want to go back to that because from now I'm remembering
there you go,
from one of the things so is one of the things I'm big on is mindset, because I think, we spoke a lot about, there is a process, right? But the process or the system doesn't actually work for everyone. There's no one approach. No. And that's why I'm like, well, how about if we take a step back and learn to think for ourselves, learn to think about and get different perspectives to shape the way we think, so that once we have that, we understand ourselves more, we have more self-awareness, and from that place, if you want to do anything that you define as success, that's when you can work it out and figure out how to actually do that. Because the how part, as I mentioned in a few of my previous content, the how part is you can learn, right? And the how part, it changes as well, because there's things, you can, maybe someone gives you a roadmap as to like how you want to sort of go from A to B, but there's other things that come up along the way, And unless you know how to think for yourself, then if, you know, like me, if we've got distractions in the way, you know, it didn't go to exactly how I want it to be planned, you have to know, how do I actually pivot at these points, and how do I make the most of all the opportunities that I have along the way, and actually just enjoy the journey as well. I think that's
actually
really
to go step back with that a little bit, because like the first part is to be okay. That it's that you can't go on and say like, oh, this sucks because like I got distracted, like that's more of you beating yourself up. So the first step is like it's okay, I stuffed up, it's okay, I will get through this together. And that sort of gives you like the mindset that, okay, it's okay to make mistakes, and mistakes are there for us to learn from. It's okay, we can get through this, let's do it. And so what can I do to do better next time? I'm not saying what can I do to be perfect next time. I'm saying what can I do for a different outcome. I'm not even going to use the word better. I'm going to say like, what can I do to get a different outcome? Because that's what we really want, right? We don't want the same outcome all the time, do we?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. No. Yes or no?
Because then our life would, my head's no.
It's okay.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Okay, I'm okay with that. So
okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm okay that I'm in between.
Absolutely, it's okay, and it's okay to do that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And the first thing is to establish that I am okay with myself. You are okay with yourself, because you have to live with yourself for the next, you know, what's so many years, like 40 years, 30 years, depending on, you know. I think like if we are healthy, like we have all 4 arms and legs, we're able to do stuff, then we should just be grateful that we have the opportunity to make a different outcome next time, because there's always a next time, as long as we keep thinking that it's okay for us to go through plateaus and difficulties and struggles. And that's like a huge, like 90% of like the journey is a lot of struggles, and that's how it should be. Like success is not a means to an end, in my opinion. Like when you talk about success, like people picture this great thing, like it's like you're in a desert trying to look for this oasis, or you found an oasis, and then when you find that oasis, it's like, oh, this is so good, I'm gonna stay there for the rest of my life, I don't have to worry about anything.
But then it disappears as well. Like you find the oasis, and then sometimes it's not real, or
sometimes
it's just
not there. Exactly.
Fleeting.
Just fleeting. Like even when you find water, the water's gonna run out. What are you gonna do after the water runs out?
So that's the whole point of, like, I guess, that having that fluidity when it comes to success. Like you do, maybe like some people have an image in their mind of what that looks like for them, but knowing that always changes, because you think, like, you know, you have a plan and you think that this is the image that you want to achieve. Actually, as you go on the journey, I find that every time you get to a certain milestone, or you think that you've gotten to that place of achievement, it changes. The whole picture changes, because something else is more important, or you get it and then it's like, oh, okay, so what's next? On to the next. So it's really sort of having to relish in these moments where, like, as well, to help, because I found, I mean, personally, from my experience, not relishing in the achievements as well. Like once I've achieved the image I set out to do, like then move on to the next thing, you kind of just pass by. It means nothing eventually.
Oh, well, it means like whatever you choose to define it as. Like if you choose to define it as like an endpoint, but it's not really an endpoint, you become sort of like disillusioned. It's like, oh, it's disappointing. Like I reached it, but then what?
It didn't feel as great as I thought.
Yeah, exactly. Like, however, like if I try to reframe it in another way and say that, okay, I got something good, it means to me that I did something right at this point, and what other challenges are coming my way. That way it feels better, because like you reached a new level. It's like you're playing Tetris and you're up to level 3 or something. It's like, wow, I'm in level 3. I'm looking forward to more adventures. Or like when you play Super Mario and get to a certain level in Super Mario, it was like, wow, I get to like see the ocean in this level, you know, like what's beneath this ocean, what's after this ocean stage. It's more like that. It's not like I got to the ocean stage and that's it, I'm not going to play anymore, because that's as that's yeah, but then you still have to play. You know, there's still more levels. So
yeah, and it's also, I think, cherishing the fact that as you get through all these Tetris levels, since we're talking about it, is that it's also about acknowledging like the progress that you make, and like who you actually become as you evolve to each level. Like what kind of superpowers do you have? I'm thinking now Mario's coming to my mind. You know, you collect all these coins, obviously you get richer, but then also like, you know, you have all these, the extra level ups as well. And or you get like, you know, you can get really speedy and crush all the mushrooms.
eat mushrooms and have like King Kong throw barrels at you, you know.
Yeah, but you would never have that experience unless you went through those levels and, you know, obviously encountered all the ups and downs. But you know, it's not, the prize isn't to get to finish level 1. The prize is the whole thing, the whole journey.
It's a whole continuous journey. You know, we just keep playing until we can't play anymore, you know.
Yeah, well, this has been really insightful. I guess like I really want to know, and for you to share like what kind of you know, what kind of help can you sort of provide people with?
What kind of help do I provide people with?
Yeah.
we're going to like the magic mushroom part, right?
Yes. I love the magic mushroom.
The magic mushroom. Okay. So the way that like me as a coach assists people is that I don't claim to have all the answers to their problems. That's not what us coaches are there for. Like even I feel like the way that I see it is that there is this world that I sort of envision in my mind, or this world that I want to envision to or advocate to people, that there's one part where coaches are resources, and the other part is coaches as the decision makers. So if you choose the coach to be your decision maker, that means like that person is accountable or responsible for your outcomes, which is a little bit disastrous if you look at it that way. That's not the kind of coach that I would encourage people to go for. You know, like sure, like if you want to lose weight, right, you look for a coach to lose weight, and you found this coach is really good at that coach has lost a lot of weight in himself, and you think that if I was to follow this coach, I would be able to lose weight like him. But then that's a little bit an illusion, right? Because like that coach's needs are different to your own needs. So that's a really illusion. And even if like it works for you, like even if like say I want to be a better tennis player, and I found like Serena Williams to be my tennis coach, and I actually do really well in I became a good tennis player, and I would challenge that person didn't become a good tennis player because Serena Williams was that person's coach. I'm saying that that person became a good tennis player because he didn't really need Serena Williams in the first place, because all he needed was knowledge. He was able to follow up or be accountable for like what he took in. But then, however, not everybody is able to do that. A lot of people are sort of like struggling in a sense that they needed someone to, you know, really take responsibility for their progress, and because they're scared to be accountable for themselves. And that's a really tragic way to see it. So like the way that I the way that I encourage people to see is that us coaches, ebooks, and all these things, those are all resources, right? You have control over how you use them. You are responsible to how you use them, right? And the way that I coach someone is that I don't give answers to people, right? I ask questions, and that's what all us coaches are responsible for is to ask lots of insightful questions so that the client is able to find good answers to them. And that's what I like doing. It's more about me learning about that specific person and on how he sees the world that he lives in. And it's like I'm standing beside him in his world, and I'm sort of trying to notice for him all these things and opportunities from that standpoint, rather than me bringing my magic mushrooms into his world and say, okay, this is a magic mushroom you need to excel in everything. But then my magic mushroom doesn't necessarily going to help you get to level 2. It could even kill you, my magic mushroom, on the spot, right? So I don't give out magic mushrooms. It's more like I'm there to for you to hold on to if you need me to. Like if there is a drain somewhere, like there's a like whirlpool somewhere, you can hold on to me, and I'll make sure that you don't fall down there. But like for you to get to level 2, level 3, level 4, that's your job to do that. I'm only just pointing out like maybe wormholes for you to get through, or oh, there's a wormhole there. You can go through there. That there's an opportunity there. Why don't you explore that? And then if they say, oh, I'm too scared to explore that, and I say, why are you too scared to explore that place?
Let's have a look at that.
Let's have a look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I do. So what I do is that I try to see what their world is like from their standpoint, and I sort of set them a plan, because a lot of people, they don't know how to get to somewhere because they don't have a plan. First is define where they want to go to. Second part is make a plan. Third part is actually taking action to get there.
And I love that you've also provided a bit of, I guess, education with, what we do as coaches, because I don't think not everyone has access to coach before, or some people don't, they get us confused with like, are you a counselor or a psychologist? Like, oh my God, what is this? Like, there's sometimes that's sort of a bit of an education piece, is that, like you said, we facilitate the dreams and goals. And we provide the different perspective, so that maybe we see things from a different angle. So that's sort of me with the mindset side, but also it's incredible having an insight by your side that is pretty much your teammate, but also cheering you towards your goals. And I think that having that kind of service that we provide is so valuable. Because I mean, people say, oh, well, what about, like, I can just ask my friends or my family, but it's a whole different experience. I think, because they're always going to support you, but maybe like you said, when someone faces some fear, or like they say, oh, I don't want to go down that way because it looks a bit scary. Unless you really look at sort of, okay, what's actually going on there, and having a third party to really help you with that.
Yeah. The thing about coaches is that we are not emotionally, we are trained to be not emotionally invested in their situation, because it's not really about us, right? So we are safe for them to hold on to, because I don't involve myself in their story. Like, I'm just there as a supporting, like I'm your like crowbar, or like sidebar to
I'm the cheerleader.
I wouldn't say I'm a cheerleader. Like I'm like somebody who'll stand by you no matter what choice you're going to make, because it's really all about making choices. There's no good or bad choices, but whichever choice that they make is something that they need to be responsible for themselves. So it's more like me being there and keeping them accountable, or making sure that they're accountable for themselves.
And free of judgment. I mean, that's what us coaches are really big on as well, is that because we're not part of the story, like if your friends and family, they're part of your story, they don't want you to get hurt or tread on that rock and, all these things. There's some judgment and bias there. And so that's where, I guess, it's differentiated with coaches.
Yeah, so it's more like getting the client to go through the trail of whys. That's also another neat thing. It's like more like, oh, why is that scary? Okay, I'm scared because it has a lot of zombies in there. Okay, why is it scary that there's a lot of zombies in there? Or because if a zombie bites me, I become a zombie. Well, and then I'll ask myself, oh, why is that scary? So it goes
Yeah.
down that path. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And it helps with achieving self-awareness. Like
Yeah.
one of the big things we've been talking about, like the
Mm.
whole recognizing, that you have maybe a certain thing that you want to work on. That self-awareness is achieved through having that sort of extra, like I said, I'm the cheerleader, and you're the magic mushroom.
Yeah.
as
I'm a
well.
magic mushroom that is not available to be eaten. I don't offer it. Like, it might kill them. Like, it might make them like super aggressive. Like, it could be bad for them. So I don't give out magic mushrooms for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So maybe to sum up, with the, how do we actually defeat burnout with resourcefulness? Do you want to go through those steps that you said?
Resourcefulness. How do you defeat burnout with resourcefulness? So the way that I did it, I'm not saying that it's going to work for absolutely everybody.
It's a framework, guys.
It's a frame. Yeah. So the way that I do it is I clear out space, because a lot of the time when you're being burnt out, you got a lot of stuff in there. And for me, then that's why I put myself in this minimalistic lifestyle. Like, I got rid of a lot of stuff. I'm sleep on the floor. I have mats everywhere, tatami mats instead of, like, beds or tables and stuff. So that's a lifestyle I chose for myself. So other people, they might like to choose a different sort of lifestyle in order to clear space. Maybe they could paint their walls white. It makes their workspace more spacious, or have more mirrors around, because, like, having mirrors around gives you more space. So that's just one method, like, is to manipulate your workspace, right? The second method is to look at your circle of friends, like which people are worth being in your circle, with being in your circle of friends. Like, so for me, like, I just get rid of people that keep talking about negative things, or like people that just doesn't align with my own goals. It's people that wants to be, professional basketball players, and they keep talking to me about basketball, and I'm not really that interested in basketball, and
torture.
So I hang out with people that like have a growth mindset, like mine, that wants to be better in themselves, and be open to learn about other people and stuff like that. Yeah. So circle of friends, your workspace, and also you could look at the way, like, your hobbies are also very important. Are you doing enough of your hobbies? Are you really good at with your diet? Like, what are you eating? Are you drinking plenty of water? Are you taking exercise? Are you doing meditation? I found meditation is absolutely very important.
I love meditation.
Yeah, like, I do that every single morning. And then
me too.
It feels so damn good. If, like, it's basically like the reason why a lot of people don't do meditation is that, like, oh, I'm wasting all this time.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there doing nothing.
That's a sure sign that you're in an abusive relationship with yourself, is that you don't give yourself time.
And you don't give yourself space, like mental space.
Absolutely.
Well.
So you need to give yourself that time and space to really reflect on things and being present. A lot of people are just not present in the moment. They're just
very busy in their minds.
Worried, concerned about, like, not achieving whatever it is that they're achieving. And if you focus way too much on just the outcome, you're just becoming this really depressed and stressed out sort of person that you feel like you're not going anywhere. So it's about freeing yourself up and giving yourself time and space and treating yourself really well. Self-love comes first, and then once your body and mind are filled up, then you have capacity to help other people, and that's going to make you feel even more whole than before.
Yeah, and it's a lot about giving yourself that freedom.
Absolutely.
so that you're not sort of chained by all these different things that hold you back, and that you're able to give more and be more generous.
Yeah. Next thing is buy more candles.
Yes, but definitely buy more candles, but don't burn them all out at one time.
Yeah. Like save some for like your parents' birthday or your birthday and some other special friend's birthday. Make sure like and invite as many people as you can, you know.
Because it's a celebration of you, you know, life is a
Absolutely.
celebration of all of us. So
Absolutely.
yeah. No, I love that. That is a good one to finish on. Yeah. Definitely. I'm gonna go get some more candles for myself.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Thank you so much, Jack, for your time and all the knowledge that you've given us tonight and myself.
Okay.
I wonder if people want to find out more about you, where can they find you?
I think the best place to find me is my Facebook page. Just search Jack Su coaching, or
and
just
he's in the tag as well. So
yeah, I'm in the tag. You'll find like a bald guy and with a
like this guy.
yeah, like that guy here. Like some people call me the Asian Professor X.
Ooh, that's a good one. Is that your favorite character?
Actually, my favorite character is Deadpool, but I'm probably
I love
not.
Deadpool.
I'm not as I'm not as humorous as Deadpool, you know. But
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I find you pretty funny too. So you're
thank you very much.
Comedian.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. So check out Jack Zoo's Facebook page. You know, he doesn't bite, so he's got a wealth of knowledge. So
no, I will bite very hard.
But like, he won't give you the magic mushroom that is poisonous, hopefully.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I'll give you the love bite.
Yes. Yes. I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate your time, and I wish you all the best.
Yeah, I wish
let's talk again.
I wish us all the best.
Yeah, and also just before we end, just let everyone know as well that because currently as I'm sort of on this journey with mindset, I'd love to help anyone who feels at the moment that they are struggling with something in their life or don't feel they've got the right system as well. That's what I'm here for. You know, I'm going to help to, as we said in this conversation, I like to declutter the mind with a lot of different techniques and things. So definitely reach out to me as well if you want to discuss how you can sort of manage your burnout better. But also if there's anything that's standing in your way, I'd love to help.
And write in the comment section what you think.
Yeah, and any questions, leave your questions with us and we'll get back to you as well.
Cool. Awesome.
Cool. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
I'll see you later.
See ya.
All right. Bye.
Bye.